All right. My name is Daria Benson, and this is my partner,
Jalen Anderson.
So, statistics compiled from 15 states revealed that juveniles prosecuted in adult court and released from state prisons were arrested 82% of the time, while their adult counterparts were rearrested 16% less. Our stance is very simple: to adhere to trying children as adults can lead to countless issues, such as repeated crime offenses and an increase in teen offenses in general. Why? Because not punishing them properly allows teens to think that, hey, let me do this crime while I'm young because I won't get it. It'll get expunged. Or if I commit this crime, I will get a slap on my wrist. Until these punishments are given out to teens, we'll continue to push legal and moral envelopes in order to see how far they can go. Is this what we want to teach our teens?
Thank you. Defense?
So my name is Ania White. This is my partner. So every year, thousands of minors are tried as adults as an effort to remove future criminals from common society. But unfortunately, the United States criminal justice system is greatly flawed. Some of these flaws become apparent when you examine the effects on juveniles who are tried, convicted, and incarcerated as adults. My partner and I will spell out the facts on the ineffectiveness of this punishment to reason why this practice should be illegal.
Isn't a crime?
It is.
And so how do you justify a lesser punishment for capital murder just because it's committed by a juvenile?
A crime is a crime, and I'm not saying that I will not say that children should not be punished, but at the same time, if you go and do something as an adult, you're in your right mind, you will probably not impression, whereas children are very impressionable. Should they receive a punishment for the thing or for their actions? Yes. Should they receive the same course of punishment as a 43-year-old? Not at all.
Not at all. So they should just receive lesser punishment for the same
They should
crime.
receive lesser punishments, considering the fact that they are very much impressionable, they are young, and they have more of a life to live and more time to correct their error rather than a 43-year-old man who just came in here and shot the place up.
Isn't that making an excuse for that?
That's not making an excuse, that's stating facts. If I'm a child, there are things that I'm going to do, such as not be able to tie my shoe or go and hit my neighbor simply because that's what I want to do and be corrected by my parents, rather than me being 43 coming in here and popping you because you didn't give me an A.
The problem I have with the opposing side is basically that the only thing that your argument really is that age should be the differentiation in the punishment. Someone committing murder at 17 or 16, they knew what they were doing when they went in there and popped their professor. You, at 17 or even at 15, you can get a hardship license. You can control a car. You can, I don't know, we treat them as adults at a young age. So I think it's funny that once you committed a crime and stuff, people like to act like now they're children, now they're this and they're that. But you were in the right mind when you went into the school and decided to shoot somebody.
Well, the reason that I decided to go with age simply is because the topic is a juvenile. A juvenile would be someone that's under the age of 18.
Right.
Secondly, the point that you brought across saying that at 17 I didn't know, but at the same time what I'm trying to make open or clear to you is that at 17, 16 and 17, there were things that you did that here at your age now you would not do again, simply because you've learned your lesson, you've endured the consequences, or because you've seen something different. Is that correct?
Not in all cases.
So I'm asking you though.
I'm not 40. I'm only 17.
I said, you're 17?
Oh, shit. My
No,
bad.
she's
I'm
saying
19.
like-
I said, at your age now,
Right.
can you honestly say that throughout your teen years, there were mistakes that you made then that you wouldn't make now?
Of course.
Okay, that's my point.
But I mean, that's a given.
So then my
Right,
case
but
is a
that's
given.
still not arguing that when you were that age that you still knew what you were doing.
You know right from wrong at that age, but at the
Right,
same
you just said you know right from wrong.
I never disagree
Right,
with
so
that.
then why should you
know
not be
right from
punished
wrong at that
properly?
age, but at the same time, in that mind, you're still very impressionable.
So what about the
and you're
people's
not
families
ready.
who you murdered? So they should just deal with it
in
because
no way,
you weren't
shape,
in your
form, or
right
fashion
mind?
am I saying that they should not be punished. The thing that I said that they should be punished, they should not be tried as an adult.
Okay, so what would you
for
rather,
to
that
deplete
they
the
get
fact
2
that I said that
years
they
in
should
like
be
a
punished
juvenile
is completely
prison?
irrelevant to what I said.
Okay, so what type of rehabilitation are they going to be given in the juvenile prison to make them not want to do murder again? What are they going to learn in there? What
There
you
are a
gonna
lot of
teach
things
them?
that happen in juvenile prisons. There are counselings, there are therapies.
You think counseling is going to change the mind of a murderer?
Counseling has changed the mind of a lot of murderers.
Do you believe that they're never going to do it again, though, for sure?
I believe that there are chances that they can.
Chances.
Even if an adult, once a once a child is tried as an adult and they go into prison or they go to juvenile prison, whatever, at the age of 18, considering or depending on their sentence, they are transferred to an adult prison. More than 43% of the children in juvenile detention centers are transferred to adult prisons at the age of 18. More than 35% of those juveniles commit suicide simply because they're in an arena with a whole bunch of male or female adults that are trying to take advantage of them. And you're trying to tell me that at 16, 17, let's just go as far back as 12, because there has been a case where a 12-year-old has been sentenced and at 18 he was transferred over to an adult prison. Are you trying to tell me that at 12 years old, if you're punished properly, you can't learn from your mistake and try it again? We're gonna go based off numbers. The same way what we do when we vote for the president, what we go based off? We go based off the percentage, the higher percentage. As a judge, yes, you do. As a judge, they go off facts. Facts are sometimes presented in numbers. More than 73% of the juvenile criminals that have been convicted based off the 73% of the children that were only committing those crimes based off impression.
So those numbers alone is enough to convict another juvenile.
More than 50% is a bigger number, right?
Yeah, but you can't just use numbers alone to convict
Why
someone.
can't you?
You have to look at evidence.
The evidence proves that it's more than 73%.
Yeah, but you're looking at statistics. We gotta look at the evidence.
What do you go based off of? If you in court, they're not gonna ask you about your personal opinion.
You gotta look at the evidence and how the crime was committed. You can't just go based on numbers.
Why can't you go off numbers if that's what makes the world go around?
Because that's an isolated incident. It has nothing to do with the crime being committed.
I think that you can go as far as you'd like to, but I think that we all know that 73% are numbers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something? So if you look on the paper that I passed around, there's a picture of these two twins on the front, right? They're 16. They brutally murdered their mom, and on like I think the next one under it, they say like just because they're tired of her. You get what I'm saying? Like they murdered her because they were tired of her, punishing them and doing things like that. So they decided to brutally murder their mom. You're telling me that wasn't planned, that they didn't know what they were doing, that they're gonna be remorseful. And if you look on the last page, there's a picture of her in prison to this day, still smiling about the shit. She don't care. They never cared in the beginning, and that's why they should have got the sentencing that they got as an adult, because they're murderers.
Adults, no, because at that point, then the adults should be tried. We're talking about a juvenile committing a crime, not a juvenile being used through an adult, because at that time, the adult should be tried as an adult. The juvenile is still subject to impression, which is what I brought up in the beginning, so they should be tried as a child rather than an adult.
Okay, to answer your question, I don't know how much of a sentence they would have gotten in a juvenile court for that, but since they're both minors, that's a little bit different, and I don't know how they would have handled that anyways. But rape is rape, and if the sentencing for rape is usually longer than what they would have done in a juvenile court, then I'm gonna say yes, if that makes sense. Like if the term for rape or something like that is like 15 years, but if they were gonna serve it in a juvenile court and they were only gonna get 3, then no, I'm not for that. I feel like they need to be tried as an adult. I feel like justice should be served as it should be served, and properly, rightfully.
But that's what she's saying. She's saying it's consensual. It's not rape.
Well, see, then that's a whole different case.
That's
I don't
what I
know
was
how
saying.
consensual and non-consensual, how that works. I don't know what the sentencing is for that. So I don't.
More than 60% of the younger population in the prison environment are taken advantage of, both mentally and physically.
Okay.
We stand today to say that children should not be tried as an adult because they are juveniles and they have more than enough time to make up for their crime. Not to say that it won't exist, but they have times to go out into the world and to be forgiven.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Affirmative.
Those in the opposition have pointed out all obvious downfalls when it comes to trying teens as adults. What they have missed is the justice for those whose families have to deal with the repercussions of those teens who are careless and selfish in the decisions that they have made. Let's give these teens more credit. They do, in fact, know that they are doing when they commit these crimes. So in fact that there are people who don't agree with me is not shocking, to say the least, but they are in fact wrong in the position they are stating, because I do believe their stance and claims would be completely compromised if the crime was to one of their family members or friends.